Oh, this is for you, Kate and Samantha, because we're missing you and we've realised we didn't hit record
Mm.
when we first arrived. And we've had our check ins and we're just having a little chit chat. Maybe, Jeanette, would you be willing to share your offer again for the closing circle? And then we'll keep going around about that, I think.
Uh, I haven't thought of exactly what I want to do yet, but something magical, something to do with the body, sound. Um, yes, we'll leave it there.
Okay, so something for the closing circle this
Mhm.
Saturday. And I want to come back because we were talking about offerings and ideas, and I wanted to come back to Viola. So, would
Hmm.
you be willing, Viola?
Yeah. So what I'm playing with at the moment is a morning session on Wednesday that fits in between the two surf practice sessions. And what I'd like to slot in is one of two Reiki practices, because they feel to me like they're doing very much the same kind of thing. So it would be interesting to go through either the hands-on self meditation and see how people feel that, especially if they have not ever experienced Reiki before. And the other practice is simply a breathing practice. So it's about taking the breath into the hara and then expanding, and it's feels like, yeah, and you're creating a bubble, you know. So it feels very much like you know a, a version of the surf practice. So one of those, and I'm kind of thinking, well, let's see, depending on who turns up and what they feel like. It wouldn't be at 8 a.m. though. It might be at 9 a.m. And I don't know how that would work for you, Jeanette. I gather that you have to be at work, or is that only some days and not every day?
There's some days I can, you know, move it around
Oh,
or
yeah.
jump in and jump out. But
Yeah.
if it's on Wednesday, that's a good day.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. I didn't want to pick a time or a day that, you know, instantly excluded anybody. And then if people were available, then all to the good. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that I'd like some support with is the idea of connecting to country. So with my practice group, we've got a plan. We've got, so our next session on the 7th, we'll be doing a little practice session. But I'd like to, yeah, kind of workshop it, I suppose, for people who are not familiar, you know, with the idea. So that I'm hearing that it's that we wouldn't want to rush it and squeeze it into this coming week, and it can be. I'm quite happy for it to be like the next phase of exploring offerings.
Thank you, Viola. Yeah, me too. I've got a me too about that. Because my Activate Wellbeing was going to be on Sunday, and I postponed. I just didn't have the bandwidth, and so that's me too. Like I would like to dream up like what's our next phase look like, and maybe it's a bit of both. You know, maybe Jeanette, you present yours when you're ready because you've got leave, and that's the most spacious and appropriate time for you. And then others of us create the a next offering, which, so it could be both, could happen. Shez, did you want to contribute then?
Yeah, I was just wondering if in the next phase, after this is finished, we could focus on finding a way to support each other to bring what we want to bring. Like, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but like have that be the intention. Okay, I've got something I want to bring and I want to get some support with it. I'd like to try a little bit, or I don't know. I guess I'm wondering if we as a group could evolve some structure that supports us, and then maybe in the last week of November, or I don't know, whenever we could, those of us who are ready or who want to, or any time really, could run something, and invite people that we know and invite others to bring, work out what size group you think you'd like for a first go and have a crack.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm very keen to keep creating the support structure, because I hear you about your request, Viola, and I have something similar. It's like I wouldn't mind getting some support to, that's what you're suggesting, Shez, like even get a piece of it and have a go with a piece of it, or so I think that's what I hoped with the open space, that we could bring little bits and pieces of offerings. We wouldn't need to bring a whole workshop offering, and we could test things, and that might still work. It can be an evolving exploration of like, oh, does that situation work if all of us together had that sort of day where we had little pieces of work to bring that we could practice. And other structures too. Like, I think it was just one idea. So having an exploration of how we continue to support each other really, that really lights me up. That matters. And I'm really grateful. I have a few gratitudes to share. One was to Samantha and Barbara for having really stepped in to just create one-on-one support offerings. I'm really grateful, really, really grateful. And just, I can see how much that's made a difference to you, Irene, just completely made a difference. So, yeah, and I know it's made a difference. And Samantha jumped in today and offered Karen Gart and midwifing landing session tonight at 6 o'clock. So it's just like, oh, it's just beautiful, amazing. And I'm really also wanting to celebrate Shez for stepping up and creating morning moments this week in advance, and having our own registration pages for those on Tuesday and Thursday. I'm like, ooh. It went from a very like, anyone step in, create something, and she did, and it was wonderful. It's been so well received, and I'm thrilled that you're in the program this week twice. And Viola, before we finish our call tonight, maybe you and I can just quickly set that Wednesday morning up for you, so it's up for registrations tomorrow. It won't take us long. It might take us 5 minutes. We just,
I just have to go at 6, so
okay. So, when would be a good
base.
time?
What would suit you, Karen?
I've got space tonight or in the morning. Oh, in the morning after 11:30.
After 11:30.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I could do it before. I could do it before I start. I could do it like 9 o'clock.
I might go and have blood tests then. Is 11:30 okay?
Yeah, unless, can I create something for you tonight? If you just send me some words and a picture, I'll put it up tonight.
Oh, okay.
Does that, like, it can be a sentence or two that we can, you've basically shared it by sharing what you shared here on the recording.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, it takes something, doesn't it? It's like, oh, a photo, oh, a title.
Let me look at what Cherie's put up. I kind of saw it as just a play together space rather than an actual session offering.
Okay. Would you like people to let you know that they're coming? That's the only value of having a registration portal, is so that all of us or whoever else is coming can let you know they're coming. That's the value of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I'm just happy to post in the messenger thread,
Okay.
and then basically whoever turns up turns up.
Yeah, and it's on the spring retreat Zoom link, so people will be able to just click and join. So
Yeah.
let's do it that way then. If that's easier for you, I like the idea that we get familiar with the event creation process, and
Oh, I see.
it's a part of the stepping into like learning to create and deliver, but it's not urgent. And certainly with the way that you're offering it for Wednesday morning, we made morning moments much more flexible, so people could just step in and offer like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me see, and then if you're free at 11:30, I'll ping you and see
yeah, yeah,
see if you're free then. And
yeah,
yeah,
because the messenger thread is no preparation whatsoever. We can
yeah,
just send that to the messenger tomorrow.
that's right.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to morning moments in the morning, Shez. I'm actually planning to be there. Samantha's midwifing, I'm celebrating, and Barbara's, and learning from sacred economics. I'm really celebrating that too. I had my own there was no facilitation. Shez and I had a morning moment about that with a U in it. But actually, yeah, like we got something started that feels important. So we're happy to see how that evolves. And there's a request about having help to hold that conversation, hold the space for that conversation to continue too. So I sort of am curious whether Barbara might, and maybe Kate Lawrence, help to hold that space for us with the rigor that they bring to developing structure for conversations. Not that we can't do it, we can, but we're holding a lot, and we're holding across a few different things. So there's part of me curious too. But that's just what's here right now. I'm really thrilled to and thankful to Samantha for taking the next steps to hold the community conversation. And that thread has started today, and I'm going, Katia and Kate Fielding are wanting to join that conversation too. So the next time we have it, are you wanting to step into that, Jeanette, as well? Depending on when we host those calls.
Yeah, I did. I think because I wasn't there Sunday, I don't really know what it's about.
We've got a little recording, so people
Oh,
can.
do you? Okay.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to presence and connect to what was said and what happened, you can, and then you can jump in for next. So at least if Samantha or myself knows, I can add you into that thread.
Brilliant.
So that you
It's like a one session or like a series of sessions around the
we don't know. Samantha's going to find out for us.
Oh, amazing.
She's going to help hold what's wanting to happen next. It'll probably be some sort of ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you too. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
the session
Bella.
I'm going to next is on restorative circles, and I've sent a link to a kind of a quick graphic of the process, and it I'd be interested to see how.
Yeah, I love restorative circles. I've done some training myself and
Oh, have you? Okay.
So yes, please bring. And it would contribute, I'm quite sure.
When is that?
We haven't booked it yet, Irene. We've put a group. Samantha's going to look after it. She's putting a messenger group together so we can know who's interested in continuing to be part of that, and then she'll probably do a poll so we can figure out when we're going to meet to have the next one. So thank you to her. And so yes, the possibility is that we have a new member or two out of the retreat who would like to come and join the Our Time to Shine group. And so I'm wanting to just see how others feel about that. Like if there's willingness and joy to open-heartedly welcome a couple of new faces into our little gang. Do we like the idea of it? Someone want to start?
I'm thrilled because Katia is a friend, and she brings a very rich, she's good. She's a wise woman.
I appreciate your connection with her, Viola, and I think that's part of the reason why it calls to her to come and participate, is that she knows a few faces and she feels, like welcome, and she's loved coming along to things. She's just really valued what the spring retreat has been for her, and she's got an idea. Like, she's playing with an idea of something to bring. So I'm like, perfect match. Seems the right timing.
So you're saying for the spring retreat, but you just mean normal Wise Women Rising?
I just mean our time to shine on a Monday night.
Okay.
We've been on a Monday night call now regularly. And
Yeah.
one of our agenda items after the spring retreat will be to see if Mondays are still going to work for everybody, or if we go back to rotating the nights, or, but our time to shine as a group has decided we're continuing until at least December, if not, but we want to come back together after the retreat and go, okay, where are we now, and what does it mean for us, and what are we creating between now and December? And let's include Katia, and let's see if this other lady who I think might like to join also. I'll talk to her first and see, and she knows your faces too. So I'm like, I think it would be friendly. These people would enjoy being able to journey with us. So that's exciting, and I'm grateful to hear yeses. Were there any reservations about having anyone join us? No. Wonderful. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I do want to come back to the Our Time to Shine program as a conversation, because the whole donut model, how we were going to do during the spring retreat, we were going to do a gift, what's it called? Money piles process from Mickey Cashtan. And we haven't done it during the retreat, so it would be something else I can bring after we finish the retreat. So thank you. So the ideas for closing circle, while we have Viola's company for another 3 minutes, maybe Viola, is there anything you wanted to any ideas you'd had for closing circle, or would you like to? And then do you want to check out before you go?
No ideas coming up at the moment. But a bit of a wrap up would be good. And thanks so much. And we'll see you tomorrow just for a half hour, Irene. Thanks for the other session too. I will head off now.
Alrighty.
Yeah, great.
Safe travels. Have a lovely evening.
Bye. Bye.
All right. So let's just check with each other about the closing circle. I'd love to hear a little more. Thank you for your offer, Jeanette. I'm excited about that. A little bit of magic from Jeanette. That's all we need to know. We'll all be there.
I'm wondering if we could do like what we did when we had our kind of dragon dreaming weekend that didn't kind of fully do that. It was open space, and then it was dragon dreaming, and then we came back to the open space and we had the breakout groups, and then we came back together and designed what we were going to do out of what arose in us individually and as a group. And that was sensational. I don't know, that's what's come for me. It's like, and I guess what the thing that's here for me is something about how do we celebrate what we've done, like what we've offered or what we've received, and what we're harvesting from it, like what has happened for us in the space of this. So I guess there's something about wanting it to be a reflective journey process that is about the spring retreat and what it's been for us or not been for us. Like if there's things that we didn't do or didn't experience that we would have liked to, I don't know, mourning, celebration, acknowledgement of self, of our own journey and others. Yeah, that's what's there for me. And maybe even what's next, or is it, I don't know, even what came to me just then was, oh, appreciative inquiry, kind of. Yeah. Anyway, that's me. I'll just stop there and see what emerges out of me popping that into the pot.
Irene?
I haven't really got anything particular that comes to mind right now.
How does it land what Shez has offered?
I guess I'm just not very present to the event, really. You know,
You're full of your session, maybe, and that's the closing circle is days away and not really.
Yeah, probably right, Sheree.
For me, yeah. Nope.
Yeah. So we'll ask you again after your session.
Yeah. That's right. Once I've had that experience, and I'm kind of thinking, I'm looking at the clock and thinking I need to put dinner on and
all of that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah. So we'll finish up then, and I just want to say thanks, because that vision for the closing circle really resonates with me, Shez, and I'm seeing Jeanette nodding too. And I have this sense of not going towards it with a lot of structure, but going towards it with those intentions that you've named. I really feel that's enough. Like, I almost want to just clip the little bit of recording of you sharing that and share it out to the messenger thread, so that people know that this is sort of the calling, this is what's calling, and the sort of intention of it, and come and help us co-create it. Thank you. Yeah, closing with a sense of rising. I love that. Yeah, thanks, Jeanette. Awesome. So, all right, well, let's just do a little checkout round before we go. Would you like to start, Irene?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Well, it's good to connect again. I just, with so many different things going on, to pause and connect with you all is really valuable for me. And I look forward to tomorrow. So is Viola just going to be there for half an hour? Is that what she said?
That's what she's saying, yeah. For for your session, she's coming for the half an hour that she can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great. That's great.
Yep. And you have 5 registrations.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, Karen. Just
okie doke.
Point. Yeah. Okay. Good night. Thank
Good night.
you.
Bye.
Hi, Irene. Are you going too, Jen?
I wanted to hear.
I was just waving, Irina.
Yeah. Jeanette, for you, anything?
I feel guilty that I haven't been able to put anything out there. And that I can't go to everything. It's I feel bad. God, I wish I could stretch myself more.
You're really bad, lazy, selfish person.
I know. I can feel like a lot of heavy guilt. I think it's guilt in my stomach. That's what I'm pinpointing it as, that I'm not able to go, and then so much happens if you don't go in a few days, and then it's interesting how the mind works, and I guess the body.
Would it be helpful if we said we haven't really missed you at all?
No, but it's the contribution part.
I'm so naughty. I'm sorry. I'm being very
You're being playful, and we love you, and we notice, because we love having your company. And at the same time, what I'm hearing is actually it's more than just the disappointment of missing out. It's like something of a deep commitment to the group, and a sense of like almost moving you to tears that you don't get to be at everything, and you haven't created at this retreat the way you had imagined you would.
Yeah, I thought I would have something to show, but
But your energy is so generous, and every time you show up, you make a difference. And that you're already bringing something of your love and care right now. And the fact that you showed up tonight,
That you care.
yeah, and that we're holding a space for you to be what you know whatever is alive for you. And I know you've got a full life. We know you do.
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. It's the end product idea coming in. It's like, this is the time and this is the product. Where's yours? That's why I'm like, oh, because I have ideas and I want to contribute back in the same way. I know we can't literally, but through a workshop or through a session of some sort. But that will come as well.
I was going to say, I absolutely trust that in your timing, like, given that you did a conference, I mean, it makes sense that you didn't have bandwidth for more, because those types of events are very demanding of energy and mind and a lot of information to take in, and feel exhausted thinking about it. So, and I apologise if my playful words kind of landed.
Oh no, don't worry.
Some tender spot in you. That wasn't my intention.
Oh no.
Yeah, the lack of bandwidth and the grief makes sense. Like, yeah, you wanted to bring something and you haven't yet, and now it's like, I don't know if I can right now. We love you anyway.
We really do.
Yeah, no, thank you. Because sometimes you have that idea of, well, what am I bringing? And sometimes what you bring, energy is intangible, and I think it's the whole person that this group really accepts. But it's being vulnerable to be like, I'm not jumping around playing today, but I'm here. So I guess it just brings it back to the meaning and purpose of this group, which I value so much.
Yeah, and that itself gives me goosebumps and warms my heart. Like, and every person who comes brings themselves, their heart and soul. And Samantha and Barbara, like, nothing to offer in terms of session, and they've found a role called support other people. And like, after something that I did, Samantha caught me, and I, on a morning, and I just she listened and heard me, and I kind of came back into myself through the process. So and who knows what your role is, this is emergent space.
Yeah, that's why when Irene said about Barbara and Samantha, I thought that was so interesting. It's like guardians had emerged to play roles, you know what I mean? Without that being designated initially. That's what I think is so magical about this, is you never know what can come up and come out with the freedom and expression to do it within this group. It's very powerful,
That's what we
Yay. I know it's for me, it's like the relationships are primary. What we're doing is sort of like we're finding that out. Like, we're finding that out for ourselves and our own work, and we're finding that out together as a group as well. But the relationships, the fact that we're all friends and we're wanting to help hold each other in this space, that's primary. And that's what shines through, and that's what that's what Karen Garten and others have said to me in terms of feedback. Like, it's just such a lovely thing to land in this community. Like, and it really is special, and it's got nothing to do with whether or not we put a workshop on. It's the helping each other to hold the friendship and the space for the right timing, and for the for what matters and what gets in the way too. Like, for me, like, just having a burnout and then not being able to, like, I thought I was going to so like, just learning together, that's the point.
and learning how to support each other. And
Yeah.
you know, Samantha and Barbara are like, last time after the retreat, Karen and I did this big piece of work around the midwifing role.
Mm. Mm.
So that's what they're doing. That's how I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
Supporting somebody to, you know, birth something. And so I'm thrilled that that's emerging. And
Yeah. It's fabulous. And there was something when you said about bringing joy and grief celebration, and you said something
mourning.
I think that's really powerful. I think that I just think that that's needed, because I mean, I'm experiencing it, Karen experienced it. And I remember Kate saying before that there's pieces of us that might not be lived out because of fear or resources or capacity. And I think just having a space to acknowledge that, that's healing.
Yeah.
So I really loved what you said about what we could bring to the closing circle around that.
Yeah. And there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I'm interested in what your conference was about and what you came away with, because
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you just give me the title?
Yeah. Well, it was, so I don't know if you've heard of Tony Robbins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and look, I had my judgment about him, and because this part, I had all these judgments, but I got invited by my friend Caleb, and he was like, you can share my screen, and you know, I was like, okay, let's I'm open to kind of everything. So I was like, I'll go. And well, it was actually quite a spiritual experience, which I didn't expect. I think he really does tap into the open heart space and does a lot of meditation and tapping into moments of deep, deep gratitude. But he also has an aggressive way of getting into self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, and I've tried a lot of things. I got something from it. I got into my body in the negative and pushed myself to the empowerment side of it. You know, there was one exercise around self-limiting beliefs, and I found this quite powerful. And there's a lot of body movement where you chant and stand up, and you know, anyway, so you pick 3 self-limiting beliefs and you go through them one by one. So you pick one. Maybe mine was, I don't feel enough, and that could go out through different areas of my life.
Yeah.
And then you write about the consequences now, and that have been, what will be in 5 years and what will be in 10 years through writing and then through visualization. So you do get into quite a bit of a dark state. And it's interesting with the body movements. Like I was like this at one point, you know, just visualizing, and it was like sad, and you know, and then you move through it and you do a lot of chanting to get into a higher state, and you like send out encouraging self-beliefs about yourself. You jump around, you dance, and say, with that one, I counteract it with one that I want to instill in me going forward. So we did that with 3 of them. And yeah, there was something empowering about it. There was a lot of joy in the online space. There was 8,000 people. He's an interesting man. He's a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
There was, you know what the feedback was, because I was chatting with Caleb about it, and Lydia as well. The breakout rooms, Wise Women Rising have that on point. They did not know how to hold space in breakout rooms. Like, I was bringing the skills that I've learned from Wise Women Rising to these breakout rooms. Like, I was facilitating, I was doing the timing, I was like asking if someone wanted a bit of reflection. I swear, I felt like I was, because I wanted my breakout rooms to be great. I wanted everyone to have this deep drop-in like experience, but honestly, they didn't give enough time. People were very on the surface. Like, I mean, I cried in mine and nobody else cried, but I'd cry in front of, I don't care. And but that helped because other people then opened up, you know, because they didn't have facilitators and they didn't guide anyone. So it was really anyone who would stand up to run it.
Yeah.
So
Go you.
Go you. I'm so
go us.
excited.
I mean, I learned this from this
Yeah,
group.
well, go us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because it's actually vital to these learning spaces that if you're doing a breakout room, that you know what your intention is. Like I was bringing in intention and so, and you could see people be like, oh, what does she mean by that? And, you know, and hand gestures and I hear you and thanks for sharing, all these little things that make people feel a little bit safer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I could see the gaps through, I mean, by being with you all. What else did I learn? There was the fourth day, which was quite interesting, all about nutrition. And it, even as basic as posture and breathing properly, I realized I haven't been breathing properly. I've been just breathing in through my chest and I'm not very conscious of my breathing, but to, you know, be in a good posture to breathe in through your nose when your stomach expands and that reverse.
4 days. Wow.
Yeah, it was intense. It was the core of it was energy, like jumping into this high intensive energy.
So is that something of what you want to bring to the closing circle, something physical?
It was something on my body, yeah. And just and I did feel myself being like, oh, what are people, because there's a lot of choice, which is, and I love choice, but there was something about standing up sometimes, you know, just getting into the body in a really, you know, expansive way, just you know, maybe, yeah. So then I was like, maybe I shouldn't bring that because maybe people don't want to stand up and they'll see it as a bit of a...
Oh, I think we can do well. In the last retreat, we actually had more of that than we've had this time. And when we went outside on that Saturday, that there was more physical, like outside standing up. In fact,
Yeah, I want you to bring it.
I was going to say I'd love to do that again. Yeah, people outside.
Yeah, trust that, Jeanette. You went to it at the right time. You're bringing, you took skills of yours to them, and then you're bringing stuff back. Like you're being such the bridge. Like just trust all of that.
Yeah, no, I want to, because I straight away when I was thinking of things, and honestly, I had deep moments of joy. And then I remember I was messaging you, Karen. You messaged me about poetry or something, and I expressed gratitude then. But I really did embody deep joy and gratitude for the group, for both of you and the whole collective that we have. It's very special, and it's, yeah, I mean, it's just is in line with my values. Joy came up a lot, you know. And you don't realize it until you step out. And I loved the Tony Robbins, it was great. But I was like, oh wow, like how I feel very aligned in coming together with everyone here.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm sorry. I just felt called to ask you. And then when you were sharing about Tony Robbins and 8,000 people and very masculine way of doing things, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
appropriate. And then when you said what you said about the breakout rooms, I'm like, oh, that's why we're doing this, so we can hear that.
Yeah, because I was straight away telling Caleb, and he was like, wow, so is that how the breakout rooms run? Because he was thinking the same. It's interesting. Facilitation is vital, and making sure that people feel heard, you know, and that's something that I feel like this group does on another level. But I don't think you realize until you step out and you're in a breakout room and it's on surface, and some people get 2 seconds and the other person gets 20.
Yeah, I was in a breakout room where I was bringing structure, time structure, and someone said, oh, just let it run. And I was like, okay, so that person got lots of time and I barely had a squeak. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, I don't know, something about what came to me just now is like being a mother and like feeding all the children.
Yeah, just nourishing everyone.
And the other one gets 2/5 of 5/8 of much, you know. So
yeah.
So thank you for that. I'm really
It's powerful, but I think it's just become our norm. We don't even realize how precious it is.
Well, I'm pleased because we have moments like this where we remember and celebrate it, and yeah, it means a lot that you not only see it, celebrate it, but that you're taking it out with you into the world. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible to me. That's making everything that that we're doing like so meaningful.
Mm.
So thank you. I mean, you really contributed to me tonight sharing your story.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
So thank you for asking shares, and thank you for being so open and letting us in, because I can imagine like, oh, going to Tony Robbins, like people might have judgment about that,
yeah.
but I've been to Tony's stuff years ago and I loved it,
Yeah.
like there's a rah-rah about it that's
Yeah.
perfect fit for me, like when
Yeah.
I'm in a rah-rah mood, like it's perfect fit. So I'm like, it's everything has its contribution to make. There's no wrong. And we're just doing something here that we really love and that supports us in other
And he's
ways.
been doing it, for a long time. Like I've, experienced his work and found it valuable, and yeah,
Yeah.
and we're discovering something.
We're discovering something to add.
Yeah.
And maybe one day Tony Robbins will come to us and go, ladies,
Yeah,
wise women,
yeah.
I need what you got there.
Yeah, because they're missing the feminine touch, the nurturing, holding, to actually create those incubators for the person to process what they're moving through.
I think it's missing from a lot of startup communities. I think it's missing from a lot of personal growth communities. Like there's a lot, and you can understand coming out of the culture that we're coming out of, that the ways that people have been doing it has met the times, and has been constrained within the times that we've lived in. And there's something new wanting to come through, and it's not just coming through our group; it's coming through, and we're just being part of that. That shift to embrace more of the emergence as well. So yeah, thank you so much. It's been really lovely to reconnect, and I'm glad we recorded, because I'm glad that others get the chance to hear all of that and get included as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of this week. I have on my checkout to-do list is a letter, an invitation to contribute to a membership payment. I'm going to try and draft words, and I'm going to send that out to just the Our Time to Shine group and ask for feedback in the next day or so. So that's on my to-do list. There was the conversation of Seven Sisters and whether or not we wanted to add that as a project for ourselves, to have it as a well, we can apply. We could apply, and I could just ask them for a bit more time. I could put in an application and say we need a bit more time.
When's the deadline?
The 30th. So it's in 2 days' time.
And when is Seven Sisters?
They've booked some time in March, but they've got a backup date for like later in the year, like everyone's doing. So it's possible we could go ahead in March. Do
you have a sense of?
Yeah, there's a couple of projects on the boil, and we don't have to look at Seven Sisters for next year. We can do the other ones that we've already got being offered to us, which is Festival of Women, which is a day event in Richmond, and we've got the Gathering of the Goddesses. Both of those events are offering us space without cost, and maybe they're the ones to go with in the initial phase, so that we get better at running events together as a group in a festival context. Like I'd like to understand how we do that, and one of the options we have is to have a bit more of a chat when we get to it about what's next, about Festival of Women, and then inviting the coordinator from Festival of Women to come join us in a group conversation, so we can hold her curiosities about us, and we can also like explore, a little bit more about what would a workshop look like that might include, a handful of us to help hold a space for other women to start to see who we are and how we work and all of that. So at a festival. So, we've got enough on. We don't have to include Seven Sisters. It's just a festival I particularly like myself, and it's their 10 years anniversary, and I was at their first one. I've been a presenter at Seven Sisters myself before, and I've thought about going back for the 10th year myself. So I might just buy a ticket and go. I thought it'd be fun to do together.
Yeah, I want to look into it. I don't know
Well,
it.
Samantha's got a bus, and she got excited last meeting and said, "Oh, I'm going to ask Andrew to drive the bus to Seven Sisters for us, so that we'd have a hangout space of our own,
Wow.
and we could all camp together, I suppose." So that there's some sort of fun that's there for me. We don't have to. We could do it as a reconnaissance mission. Like we could all go together just to play and be part of it, and then think about, how we might bring something alive for the following year. Yeah, and the market stall application, that's what I was thinking about, having a market stall, because if we had a market stall, we'd have prime posse with our camping site, could be right behind our market stall in the sort of centre of it all, and we'd get primary position. We'd also get like 4 or something free tickets included in the market stall. So if 4 of us are going, we may as well buy a market stall and have a good place to camp. That was my part of my logic. And then have a little shop front where we could, have one-on-ones, or, chat to people, or have little circle catch-ups, or, so there was a vision about it, but it was like so unformed that, and it's a bit short notice to ask everyone to go, can you just put your hands up if you're willing to throw some money in the pot so we can have a stall?
How much is the stall?
The stalls the request is a $300 deposit, and we have like maybe not quite $200 in the Wise Women account, but because I'm sending out the invitation to everyone this week to contribute their $40 or whatever they can afford that they're willing to contribute, there might be another 100, 150 or something, 200 come in. So it'd be just really, do we want to put the 300 deposit up by the 30th and then trust that the money will come and that will.
Or do you have to put your deposit up when you apply?
Yeah, that was the how it was sitting with me, was that was the unknown. Like, do we want to put in the market stall so that we can all camp close in? And yeah.
So with the market stall, you get a space to camp as part of that price.
Yeah, and I think we get 4 tickets.
Oh wow.
4 staff tickets.
Does the market stall cost more than the 300? Or?
Yeah, that's the deposit, and it's half. So by the time we could do a fundraiser, we could do for our next retreat. If we do another one at the end of November or beginning of December, then we could raise the other half.
Okay. And in your experience, what do people sell from their market stall?
Usually it's like going to a hippie market. Like there's clothing and handmade things and toys, wooden toys and all sorts of things. Hey?
Mostly it's physical items?
Mostly it's, physical items, like what's normally for sale. However, I did see there was one lady there the year that I went. Haven't been for a couple of years, but the remembrance I have is that one of the sponsors, who was also like a presenter at Seven Sisters, had her own stall, and she just had like pamphlets and leaflets and business cards and things on a little trestle table. So it was sort of like you would see at St Kilda Market or whatever. Like mostly everybody is products, but every now and then you see a service provider, and they're trying to drum up, sell their message or whatever. So I just thought we could, have a think about how we want to create the space, drape some.
And are there guidelines for offering a session, or is there times, spaces, container sizes, time frames? Is there, or do you just, that's what I think part of the reason I put it on the agenda for the last few weeks, but just timing wise with the spring retreat we haven't had time to look at it, but there is the option that a few of us could apply as presenters in different spaces. Like they actually have different presentation spaces where
a few of us could apply to present something. And my thought was, we just present together as a group. We go and present something called, embracing the emergence in your or something, like we come up with the title, and then 4 or 5 or 6 of us, or however many can come, we just all show up together and we sit together and we share and we do a workshop together. We come up with something as a presentation for one of the spaces, because they have like sacred space, women's mysteries, like they have different tents with different we would fit in one of them particularly well that I remember looking at. And
it doesn't apply. Here we go. I was looking for info about
applying.
So
yeah.
Is it just presenting, or can we run like an immersive workshop?
It's definitely, we can run an immersive workshop. Like, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, it says application for presenters, but as a group, we would need a group photo and a group presentation, like a workshop, but we'd have to have something to write that they would then go and put in their, if we were successful as a group pitch, then they would want to put that in their flyer and brochure, and they want photos and everything now. Like they want all that info by the 30th.
Yeah, it's well, and so what you're proposing is connecting with them and asking for an extension. I mean, because
yes, I'm saying that if we applied for a market stall, that we likely to get a bit more leniency because we're putting money up to have a market stall. We're going to help. That's a mutually beneficial situation. And if we had our own little market stall, then people who saw our workshop could come wandering past and catch up with us after. And, could people who don't come to our workshop because they are at other things can still find us because they can walk past us in the marketplace. So that's why I'm like, yeah, we'd be in the program if we got accepted as presenters, but we'd definitely be in the program anyway if we were market stall holders. Yeah. So that's why I was like, let's go for the market stall, have a little space where we can decorate, put beautiful, colours and a table and, or a little space where we can make a circle of pillows on the ground or, something. Can create something in a little mini market space. And just, however, again, like I said, 2 days until that application needs to be in. We'd like to have some time to think about it, I think. So I could approach them and say, this is who we are and we'd like some consideration, that we'd like to, apply for both, perhaps, but we're not clear yet. We need some bit more time. So yeah, that's what I could do as a tentative thing and say, we do want to apply, but we want to just have a bit more time to create something for you. And see if they say no, then it's no. I mean, we have some lovely opportunities to do something similar anyway. Gathering of the Goddesses Festival is going to be very similar, and they've moved to February. So we already have a festival to go to in February that's possibly already enough. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I notice just energetically I'm kind of like I'm exploring the website and I'm now in the presenter application for.
It's very professional. They've been doing it a long time.
I know, 10 years really. It's
I know, it's really, and I think Gathering of the Goddesses is a perfect fit for us because they actually want us there for free because I mean, we have to cover our costs, but they want us there because they can see we're a good fit for their crowd. And it's much more experimental. Like, it's not going to be as slick. It's not going to be as well managed. It's not going to be as run as perfect. Like, we probably won't, we'll probably have to get a camping spot wherever we can get one. Like, it's going to be a bit more bedlam going to Gathering of the Goddesses is my sense of it.
Emergent, maybe.
Yeah, way more emergent because they're first one. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're so much more in fit with them, and maybe that gives us our practice run to, I mean, but that's in February. That's towards the end of February, and Seven Sisters is in March.
It seems the Seven Sisters right now, how it's occurring for me is big,
Yeah.
a lot, short time frame right now with the,
Yeah, exactly.
part of me just goes, oh.
And more money than we have in our bank account right now.
Yeah, it just energetically, it feels like an overstretch, like an
Yeah, all right.
overextending rather than, oh yeah, we could do that. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it feels
Well,
a bit much.
I feel happy with that, and I'm also willing to say, instead of putting all of this aside and just saying, I'm keen to go to Seven Sisters and play.
Yeah, well, that way, you could do, I don't know, like experience it as it is now in what it's been built into over 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we do small space things. Like, I notice that the idea of going to something that's really big, 3,000 people, and it's like, I don't know. And that's just my, how I'm experiencing it right now. It just, whereas going along and being a participant.
Going along and being a participant and having a little group, buying a group ticket together.
And getting a feel for it and going, is this, do we want to have a goal of coming to this next year? And does it fit? And
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you too, Shez, and I've taken it off the agenda. Thank you so much, both of you, just staying on and letting me just rabbit that out, because I did get excited. I was like, yeah, if we did Gathering of the Goddesses, we might feel ready to go and play at another festival, because I'm like, we want to do the festival of fun. Like, I'm keen. Festival of Fun next year.
Oh yeah, me too.
So, I'm open for it, but I'm happier if we're not working it, we're going to have even more fun. So, but I do think what we're doing is really valuable, and I'm okay if other people start to hear a little bit about us and want to come into Our Time to Shine next year, or, like, I'm happy that we start to let people know we exist in smallish ways. But, we're still very much trying to get our systems and our understanding of how we all work. So another year would make sense.
Yeah, when you just said that, we took, let people know in small ways. It's like, yeah, that feels like a fit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool. All righty.
All right, loves. Thank you for staying on, and thank you for tonight and touching base. I really appreciate being together with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for listening to me. And
it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And one question, actually, the model where it's the Guardians, the model that we use, the Guardians, the host and all that, who's that by? Because I'm
It's Art of Hosting. It's called Art of Hosting, and they have website, and they have downloadables, templates and different things. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Big love.
Oh, and there's the circle work.
Oh yeah.
Circle Wise on Friday at 5:30, which might be more about that too.
Oh yeah. And there, so there was something else I wanted to ask about the Viola's thing is on at 9 a.m. Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's all my questions.
Oh, okay. I wrote it in for 8. I've actually got another call at 9 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. I might be able to reschedule mine. We'll see.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to be there for Viola's session on Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
And Karen, do I need to message Samantha directly about the difficult conversations?
You could messenger her directly and just ask to be added, but I'll add you to the group myself. I think I've heard from everyone now that they're willing to open it up and be inclusive of new participants from the community. So yeah, I think there's a yes about that. So I'll just make sure there's no objections, and then I'll make sure that you're included. Yourself, Viola, Kate, and Katia. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Okie dokie. Have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely evening as well. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.